Hey everybody, pleased to hop on here with the Point Park Esports Hangout. Myself, Kevin Taylor, Associate Athletic Director at Point Park and Director of Athletic Communications. Pleased to be joined by Chris Gaul, the Director and Head Coach of Point Park Esports. We're coming to you on the Zoom meeting during the COVID-19 pandemic. But Chris, first off, how are you doing?
We're making it work. It's not the end of the world. I am someone who's very used to being on a computer for long periods of time. So, um it's not as bad for me as I think it is for a lot of other people. But it is nice to be able to sit down and have a real conversation and talk to somebody that isn't the people I live with for a little while.
Yeah, so right at the end of 2019, we announced esports. You were hired early March, officially interview process around Christmas time. We're so glad that you're here to launch our esports team, which will be competing in fall 2020. Coach, what have you been up to since you came on board Point Park?
Um Honestly, the biggest thing I've been doing is recruiting, trying to get the word out, trying to get students excited, trying to get people in to Point Park to play for me for the fall season. Other big things we've been working on is making sure that the practice facility gets finished in the way that, in the vision that I really have for it and what I want for my players. Making sure that we're sort of doing our due diligence with creating all the proper social medias and making sure that we have designs for different things, reaching out to the communications department, the marketing department, I think is what they're officially called. So when the fall of 2020 does come around, we really have something to unveil and show off. But the biggest thing I've been doing is recruiting, trying to get students in.
So, how do you go about building this team from scratch? From no players, no student athletes on the esports team to bringing in a squad for this fall.
Um, a big thing that, well, I sort of came in, was here for about a week, as you know, and then the whole COVID pandemic
Yeah.
started where we are, and so we sort of got sent home. That's why we're here. But yeah, so I was only in the actual office for about a week, maybe two, before I got put at home, which is fine, but it has been more of a challenge. I've been doing a lot of email correspondence, a lot of Discord correspondence with potential recruits. There's different databases that recruits sort of fill out their information, and I can sort of go on there and see the people that are interested. So I've been sending out a lot of emails to different recruits that have maybe the passion, the skill level, the potential that I really look for in a player, and then reaching out to them by via email and whatnot. So I've been sending out a lot of emails, having a lot of just basically shots in the dark, see what comes back. And I've been successful to an extent. Obviously, there's always room for more. And then obviously there is, if I was on campus and when I get back to campus, I hope to really unveil it to the current student body and really get some excitement around that and see what I can really drum up in terms of potential players, people interested in the program, different student worker positions, possibly, stuff like that.
So one thing you've mentioned from the beginning, from your interview process to when you first started officially, is the importance of building that community more so than just student athletes and numbers, but and why that is so important to esports. Tell us why. What is that all about?
Um, it, Esports is just, it has different pillars within it, and two of the main pillars are the competition and then the community. Um, every professional team, every successful program has a community behind it, whether that's at a college or a university, whether that's a gaming club, whether that's just some spin-off of the actual varsity program that's hosting events, hosting different stuff on their Discord, pickup games, whatever, different streams. Maybe they're producing content for their community with their players, with their team. In the past, I've toyed with the idea of doing 24-hour streams with our players from the facility, just to get, for different charity reasons or whatever, to get people really connected with the players and the team. Because if you don't have that community that really supports what you're doing, it there just isn't that same support for the players. There isn't a love for what's happening. There's no retention for anyone involved. There's no reason anyone should care about what you're doing. And that's crucially important in esports, as it is with a lot of things, but almost more so in esports. So that's really one of the biggest things that I am focusing on and always focus on in esports is building that community, getting people excited, getting people following and really caring about what you're doing and why you're doing it.
So what is your goal, your vision of Point Park Esports? Where do you want us to be achieving, or how high,
Yeah.
and how how high is the bar, and like what your sights on what you want to achieve?
I mean, obviously I want us to be successful. I want us to win. You know, if we won the nation, if we were the first in the nation, that'd be great. Um, I don't know if that's a reasonable goal, but it's always good to sort of aim for the stars, I guess. But in all honesty, the biggest thing that I'm looking for is having people that are really committed to the program, having players that have the willingness to learn and grow as players and develop as a team. Because you can take a team of very average players and pit them against a team of very high ranked, very talented players, average ranked players. I should change the phrasing on that. You can take a team of average ranked players and pit them against a team of very high ranked players. And that team of average players, if they've been playing together for a long time, if they really work together, if they have good teamwork, they have good macro knowledge of the game, they can win 10 out of 10 times against a team of much higher ranked players that don't play as well as a team. So that's really the big thing I'm looking for is having recruits that are dedicated to the team, that are willing to learn, that are willing to take advice, willing to take criticism, and really willing to build that almost family team structure with their teammates so that we can be something successful in that regard.
So is there
As
a
for
certain,
community,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
So in terms of, as you were talking, it made me think, what level of player are you looking for this initial team? Is it that advanced player, the middle of the road player, the beginner? Should everybody who might be interested reach out to you? Or, I'm just thinking of maybe those students, those prospects who might be at home and they're gaming and they might think, is this for me? Am I good enough? Or what range of players are we looking for, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's a very common question I get from a lot of players who say, you know, I'm not good enough. Why should I try out? I'm not good enough. I shouldn't reach out. You know what I mean? And I personally always encourage everybody to reach out. Even if you are a terrible player who has never gotten out of the depths of bronze in a game and just has no idea what's going on, I still encourage someone to try out because even if at the worst case scenario, the worst thing that I can say is, you know what, we don't need you. That's the worst thing I could ever say to you. You know what I mean? So, and I will rarely ever say that to a player because I feel that if someone cares enough to be a part of the program and someone has that enough dedication to really come to practice and really put in the time, that person can get exponentially better, especially if they're at the lower ranks. So I encourage everyone to try out across all skill levels because anyone who's played competitively in esports understands that solo queue and the ranked ladder is a different game than any form of competitive organized game. So someone might be terrible on the ranked ladder because they expect teammates to do different things. They're not good when they can't communicate their ideas. Just talking out loud helps them process things, but they might be excellent in a team environment and they just don't, they haven't tried it yet because they haven't had that opportunity. So I encourage everybody to try out because it can't hurt.
So speaking of, not holding back, of reaching out, let's talk about the ways that you can reach out to Point Park Esports. Of course, there's your email, cgaul, Gaul at pointpark.edu. There's a Twitter, there's a Discord, there's
Yeah.
our website, pointparksports.com. Where should these people who are interested reach out to?
I think the best place to get immediate results is my email, right? Seagull at pointpark.edu. That's the best place to go. Send me an email, send me something, some form of information about what you're interested in, where your rank is, any film you might have, any of that stuff, any esports experience. anything that you have that you think might be valuable to me. Your op.gg, your account, your stats, whatever. Shoot me an email. And if you don't want to send any of that stuff and you just want to send an email and say, I was interested, I was looking at it, I don't know if I'm qualified, I don't know if I'm good enough, but I wanted to have a conversation. That's perfect. Second, I would say is probably Discord. Discord's an excellent place to be involved, and I encourage everyone to be involved there because it's the best place to talk to me on a less professional level, if that makes sense.
It's
I
real
mean, obviously,
familiar, just like this chat right here. We want it to be familiar. We want it to be welcome.
yeah, I'm always going to be professional with people, but it's a lot, you know, it's a lot more casual a conversation. But it is a little bit more difficult for me to keep straight who is who because your Discord name doesn't resemble fully your real name. Sending files and stuff can be a little bit tricky. My Discord is really flooded with a lot of stuff. So things can get lost. The message system in Discord is a little bit easier to get things lost than it is in email. So I always encourage people to reach out in email. But if Discord is what you feel comfortable with and you want to reach out with me in Discord, I'm never going to ignore somebody. I'm not going to not respond, right? So reach out to me, whatever way, even Twitter. I'm not as solid on Twitter. It's something that is not my strong suit.
We're gonna get
And
you. We're gonna get you, Chris.
yeah, I'm working on it. Anyone who's played for me in the past, anyone that was at my last institution knows Twitter and social media is not my strong suit if it's not Discord. But you can still reach out. I still check it pretty much daily. So I will still see it if something pops up there. I'll probably almost certainly just message you on Twitter and say, hey, shoot me an email. But
So it's at PPU_esports is the Twitter right there,
yeah,
and the Twitter bio is the Discord. So check it out at PPU_esports on Twitter, and then pointparksports.com, the website. So that's how you do recruiting. I want to talk games.
yeah.
What games is Point Park Esports playing here off the bat? Let's get into it.
It's a very important thing because there is so many out there right now. Where the games that we are moving forward with are League of Legends, obviously, and Rocket League. Um, we picked those games for multitude of reasons. I would personally much rather start small and be successful with few games than try and bring on a whole smorgasbord of games and have me personally not have the time to coach any of the sports and everything be half done. So I'm starting small, as I've done with all my programs. I always start small and sort of expand. Um, I don't know when the expansion is going to happen because I have to see the process, I have to see the challenges, I have to see what my time looks like and what my ability to really put in, because I don't want to have teams that don't get the time with me and don't get the time with a coach that they deserve. So I need to look at where my time is being utilized and how I can get different time in different areas to really expand into different teams. So right now we're starting with League and Rocket League. In the future, we'll look at different games. I've done Overwatch in the past. I've coached that in the past. There's many different options. I love Rainbow Six. I don't think I'll ever have Rainbow Six as a sport or CS:GO as a sport varsity level at the moment, just because of they're both very graphically violent games. They both have very vivid gun violence in them. There's blood, there's gore, it feels very real to watch and to play and to look at. So for someone who's not as well versed, that can be very jarring to them. And any player and any coach isn't going to look at it and say for they're not going to look at it as that, but people who aren't involved in the esports community might. So it's something that I have to consider. But Overwatch certainly always a possibility. Um, Hearthstone, one that's been popular in the past, has sort of lost some steam, but still there. A different style of game, a little bit slower, a little bit more strategic in the way of play. Valorant's coming out, the new Riot shooter's coming out. It has been getting a lot of hype. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know where it's going to take off to. I don't know where it's going. Fortnite had a lot of hype for a time, and it's sort of settling into its niche. I don't know how it's going to continue in the future. I know that there's been talk of different stuff like Call of Duty Warzone being somewhat popular. I know they're trying to put some money into it, and the new Call of Duty has been pretty more successful than the past Call of Duties, but it still hasn't hit the numbers in the esports realm that a lot of people were sort of hoping for. So really it's up in the air where we go in the future, but that's where we're starting.
You heard it, Rocket League, League of Legends, Fall 2020, Point Park Esports. Chris Gaul, the head coach, director, Kevin Taylor, athletic communications here at Point Park University. Coach, I'm going to get you out of here on this one. Why should, if someone comes to Point Park for esports and they sign on to play with the Pioneers, by the time they're done, what are they going to have gotten out of it and the experience and to be better off of it?
Um, Obviously they're gonna get to meet me, which is a privilege in itself. Because I'm kidding. But I think the biggest thing, honestly, that I want to provide to an athlete of mine or anyone who interacts with me from student to coach perspective, I plan on bringing on student staff and volunteers and whatnot to get different experiences because getting experience in esports is really difficult. That's one of the biggest things that I want to provide to students is the opportunity to leave with something legitimate, to have on your resume, some legitimate experience. So when you're leaving Point Park, wherever you want to go in your career, if it does involve esports, you have that opportunity, you have those connections, you have the ability to say, I know how this works. I've been in this. I've played competitively. I know what it takes. I'm going to keep going with this. And I can really use this as a, a possible jumping platform. And that's really one of the biggest things I want to offer to students is that. Secondly, another big thing, when I was going to university, I had to make a decision between esports and university. There was nothing that was a best of both worlds style situation. And that's something that I'm really excited to offer to a lot of people because I didn't have that opportunity. So I'm really excited to offer that to a lot of different people of, you know, I want to I want to still compete in esports and I want this to be something really that I continue in my life, but I don't know how successful it's going to be for me. And I still want to be able to go to college and I still want to be able to get a degree and really move forward in that respect as well.
Thanks a lot, Chris. That sounds great. That is a great thing to become a part of here at Point Park University. Your vision of esports and building the community. We're just getting started. Fall 2020, Point Park University Esports. He's Chris Gaul. I'm Kevin Taylor. I want to thank anybody for watching this and getting to know about Point Park Esports. We're coming to you during this pandemic. We're glad you're able to hop in on this. And welcoming environment is what we're trying to build here. And hopefully this has been good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for taking the time, Chris. We'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that anyone who wants to reach out does.
All right. We'll see you later.